Good morning, everybody. We're going to talk about improvised knives today. So stick with me. We'll get right into it. Okay, so, to be more accurate, I probably could have called this improvised cutting tools. But I saw this at a hardware store, and this has been quite a few years ago, or probably 9 years, maybe ish ago. And I was never got around to doing what I was going to do with. I was going to use this, and I was going to strip the paint off of it, play around on the forge, reshape it a little bit. But the idea was to see if I could turn this into a somewhat usable knife. And I did do some sharpening to it. And this thing, as it is a chisel grind. It's completely flat on the backside. And this was off a pair of shears. It is real long handled, heavy duty snipping shears. But I saw the shape of that and I said, well, it almost kind of looks like a knife. So that's kind of the genesis of this thing. I just happened to find it. I was going through a box of knives. But let's play around with it and see how well she still cuts, if she cuts at all. It's been, like I said, it's been laying in that box for quite a while. So that'll be a fun little experiment here. Okay, now keep in mind too, I said this is a chisel grind. So your angles that you're going to hold this is a little bit different, but she definitely cuts. And granted, what it has for the handle is not very comfortable, being that it's bare steel, but it is working. Let's see. Let's get something that's got a little more proper edge there. If you was wanting to try to get some feather sticks, it's a little harder to do a feather stick on a complete round. It's actually working pretty good. It feels like it ought to shave some hair. I do see I got one little nick in there, probably where it's sitting in the box, but it cut a little bit of hair, but it's more kind of pulling them out. I got a little bit on the blade there, but didn't cut hair the greatest. But I mean, it's not a proper knife. And this steel was incredibly hard. I don't doubt that I could do something with making it more into a knife, but it definitely have to be annealed. So my original idea was to hammer, obviously, this down and out, and hammer that out a little bit more, and maybe straighten the tilt. I did kind of like that slightly curved shape, but to be able to keep it to where it's a curved shape, but to feel the hand completely, I want to be able to grip it here. So I needed to, draw that metal out to have something to completely close on. That would kind of, make it a little choppy. But it's not like really that heavy either. It's a little bit lighter than it looks. Decently chunky though. All right, real quick, we'll just see if we can. I don't doubt that it will, but but we'll grab a piece of wood here and we'll just split it real quick. Don't have any smaller rounds left, so I need to get some more prep material for the videos here, guys. Let's readjust real quick. No point in resetting the whole camera, I don't think. We can just get this thing set up real quick. The only thing I don't know about, like the chisel grind on here, if it was a longer piece of wood, it may want to force it to go to the side. But just real quick here. Yeah, I had no doubt that was going to cleave right through that. All right, but let's get back to the kind of the crux of the story here. Improvised cutting tools. It's kind of like one of them deals where, obviously the scenario is, kind of one of those. We've had some kind of horrendous incident happen. The country's like really, really bad shape, and things get kind of knocked back to a little more primitive manner of living. Money, of course, if it even is a thing, anything that's a produced item, whether it be handmade or older stuff that's still from a factory, those things would be quite expensive. But no, there's always a chance you can still go around and find some junk if you find a good pair of like these are basically just for cutting branches on a tree. It's a pair of nippers, but they're just really big pair. I think the handles on that thing was at least 2 feet long. So that, this is a big heavy duty one. It's meant to cut, larger diameter branches, just snip right through them. And you can buy these in a package for replacement cutters, by the way. You don't have to actually get the cutters themselves with the handles, because then you have to take all the bolts and stuff out of it. But either so, let's say you came across those and you didn't want to necessarily use them as nippers. Well, if you can manage to find some stones or files or actual semi-proper sharpening stones, you can procure something like this and something to touch up the edge and maintain the edge. Even as is, like I said, though, it's a little bit too hard, so you'd want to watch heavy impacts on it. But even as it is now, as you can see, it does a decent enough job cutting. And you can absolutely use this to field dress an animal with, especially the way that tip's made. It's like almost like how the old butcher knives for processing animals are. With the way this tip part is made, you can actually get in there to open up the stomach of an animal to get the intestines and everything out, and less risk of accidentally puncturing the intestines. Now, longevity's sake, I couldn't say, because I only played around with this thing for just a little bit and never did manage to get it to the forge. But like I said, I'm kind of impressed without being, anything done to it to improve it as a knife. It's working pretty decently. And, this may be a better bet than trying to, say, learn a difficult skill like maybe napping. Though, highly recommend, if a person's able to learn that skill. It's actually something somewhere down the line I'd actually like to get some real experience with, doing some flint napping, maybe using some glass, because to me, it's a primitive skill, but it's a highly underrated skill. Got some more of that old boot lace here, guys. We're just going to see how well she cuts through this cordage here. That wasn't too hateful, I'll be honest with you. Let's drop the camera down a little bit. I'll try to find a halfway decent flat spot on this oak log here. It's actually working pretty good. Which, to be honest with you, being it wouldn't really shave hair very well, I thought maybe that would struggle. Yeah, it's just not quite there for cutting hair, but it's doing everything else pretty well, which is one of them deals you think, well, if it won't cut your hair very well, it's not going to cut clean through cordage or whatnot, or make feather sticks, but it is doing a good enough job of it. It's actually not too bad. Or just real quick, I want to just do a little bit of light chopping here, just kind of get an idea, what it kind of might do. Wow, that's actually not bad. Now, I'm not using that much power either, guys, because I literally got like a pinch grip on this, and I can get my middle finger kind of there to catch it a little bit as I'm chopping. Now, if I had the handle actually was stretched out where you get a proper grip on it and some kind of wood for handle scales, I think it may actually perform even a bit better than that. There you have it, guys. Real easy to procure improvised cutting tool, and it actually works pretty good. Now, sheath wise, it'd be one of them deals if you could find some PVC plastic pipe and make a small campfire. Be real careful with it, and you might be able to improvise a sheath for it. I mean, outside that, maybe some cardboard duct tape. Not pretty. I don't know if you could actually maybe find a sheath for another knife that'd fit this. That might be asking quite a bit. I gotta say though, it did perform pretty decent. I'm actually kind of surprised. The edge still feels just about like it did when I first brought it out here. Like I say, other than some maybe some annealing and then some proper tempering. Now, I say I do prefer not. I'd rather not have a chisel grind, but the way this knife is made, it'd be really hard to bring that out of it because there's an extreme amount of steel on the side where they actually put the edge. This plunge, the grind line down there, the plunge line right here is really, really thick. I mean, you could do it, but you'd lose a lot of the knife. So I'd probably just keep this a chisel grind. I mean, they do work just fine. It's just a little different. You'd have to get kind of used to using it because you're holding your ankles for, like, I was shaving wood here. This little shavings off a piece of wood. It's a little different, your angle for cutting that, whereas you're going to be a little more up with a knife that has your normal double angles on each side. This chisel grind is a little different. However, it still is highly functional. I mean, I can get very fine shavings off this thing, and like I said, it has not even properly been sharpened. So, if I was stuck out in it, and if I could, I could grab something like this, I know I'd have a pretty decent cutting tool. I'd be pretty happy about that. But, it's like some of them deals, it's food for thought. It's kind of like run some scenarios through your head. It's like, what do I do for a cutting tool or knife or a blade or something like that, especially if you're a person that doesn't actually carry one. Well, there's a little idea for you. And it's got plenty of holes in it already. So, I mean, lanyard's not a problem. You could definitely paracord wrap this. Wouldn't be a problem. But I thought that was just a nifty idea, guys. And I thought I'd share that with you. So thank you all for watching. Appreciate all your time. And I'll see y'all in another video.